We're about to go live. The countdown has started. Thank you so much for being one of the first ones in the live stream. Greatly appreciated. If you have not done so, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll be joining the Harrison Extended family. Hit the bell notification next to it so it'll let you know when I upload new videos and when I go live like I'm doing right now. And also, don't forget to engage the discussion. I want you guys to light up the chat. Questions, comments, disagreements, whatever it is, please engage the chat. I really would like to have a healthy, positive discourse about the topic we're talking about today. And also, we can use your support. This channel is funded by you guys, our channel members and our Patreon community. We have a Harrison Extended family made up of our subscribers and those who financially support the channel. You guys are the producers. You guys are the ones that make this kind of content possible. So if you would like to be a part of the Harrison Extended family through memberships and through the Patreon community, you can click the join button down below while you're watching this countdown and join the Harrison Extended family through memberships on YouTube channel. Or you can go to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values, and there you can join one of our tiers. They're worded as family members, so any one of the family members would help support this channel. So greatly appreciate it. So we're about to get started in a few seconds, so please hold tight. And thank you so much for being here in the live stream. Got that coffee on deck. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Boy, oh boy, was I reluctant to do this topic. I've been watching my brothers and sisters on YouTube, people who I agree with and disagree with, share their thoughts on this reversal of the Supreme Court regarding Roe V Wade, and I thought it was time that I sound off on it. I didn't want to do it too fresh because I wanted to make sure that my information was right and that I wasn't just trying to get on the YouTube bandwagon. Like, I really wanted to have a healthy discourse and conversation about this. And this is one of those polarizing topics that people just seem to have two very opposite opinions, which is fine. But at the same time, people don't know how to have a civil discourse with the disagreement. And I'm hoping that we can have that tonight. Some of you guys may agree with me. Some of you guys may disagree with me, and that's fine. I just want the discourse to be civil. But before we get started, you see this right here? Do me that favor. Hit the like button. And if you are not subscribed to the channel and you would like to join the Harrison Extended family, please hit the subscribe button. Because of the nature of this topic, I do have the chat set to subscriber mode, but you don't have to be subscribed for any length of time. If you hit the subscribe button, then you'll be able to join the conversation. You can unsubscribe right after. But I know that my Harrison Extended family, I've been trying to build a community here on my YouTube channel where people can disagree, but we're respectful to one another. And we can have very polarizing views, but what we're not going to do is, demean or belittle the person that we disagree with. That's not going to happen here. So I want to have a healthy civil discourse about this because it's a hot topic. The reversal of Roe v. Wade. I've watched a few videos. I've been reading a little bit up on the Constitution, constitutional law, reading articles by news conglomerates as well as lawyers and those who are professionally adept in the constitutional law. So we're going to talk about this. So shout out to everybody in the chat. We have All Got Everything. My brother Maurice is in the house. Jess Shernette. What's going on, Shernette? We have Chelsea. Chelsea's in the house. She's going to be discussing this, I believe, as well. So was Maurice. Black Light Revelations. He talks about everything and all things. So make sure you guys go to his channel. All right. He doesn't use the censor button, but his topics are definitely on point. Dara Cherie, what's going on, sis? I know you're going to have some thoughts about this. I know you are. So, guys, I will be opening up the line through telephone and through the video chat, so you guys can join the discussion as well. Even if you guys don't want to, it's fine. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I have it pinned, the link pinned at the top of this. So if you guys would like to join the discussion, you can. And if you're watching the replay, We got the comment section down below. Make sure you leave a comment, okay? Even if you want to say, Dre, you're this, you're that, you're a panda, whatever it is you want to say, I don't mind. I appreciate any kind of engagement. So let's get started with the topic. As you can see, the title says Roe v. Wade. Why you mad though? Right? And there's a reason why I titled that, because people are extremely angry, extremely upset about the reversal of Roe v. Wade. And I don't understand. I'll be honest, I don't understand why there's so much vitriol around this. That's because I'm trying to think objectively about it. Okay. I'm trying not to have my feelings involved. And for the sake of this conversation, what you won't hear me say is anything religious, because I know some of you guys may not have any religious affiliation. I'm a Christian. I believe in the salvation of Jesus Christ. I am also what people may consider pro-life, but not for the reasons you may think. Not for the reasons you may think. And I'll go deeper into that before we get started and open up the line. But for the sake of this conversation, I am not going to quote to you guys Bible verses, because some of you guys don't believe it. I'm going to try to come to you guys from a very empathetic but logical position. Okay, I understand why certain people feel a certain way, but this is one of those topics that you can't really move on feelings. Okay, because it's a weird thing, because whenever we move on feelings, then we get to the whole hypocrisy about this whole thing, and the scales are imbalanced, and we'll discuss that. All right, so why you mad though? And let's get started with the basics. Supreme Court justices ruled by majority that that the termination of a pregnancy and that right that was given in 1973 with the Roe v. Wade decision is not constitutional. That's pretty much all it is. The motive wasn't to remove people's rights. It was just to, and again, let me say this. The Supreme Court justices may have had ulterior motives. They're conservative justices, which I don't think is right. I think that's a conflict of interest. If there are any judges that acclaim any political affiliation, they should not be judges, because they cannot truly be balanced in their position and their perspective on the law. They will always have either a conservative leaning view of the law or a progressive or liberal leaning view of the law. Justices should not be appointed necessarily by the president. And this is how I feel. I don't think so, because judges, and no matter what level you're at, should be objective, period, and should not be claiming a political affiliation, should not be claiming to be conservative or be liberal or progressive. I think that's absolutely asinine for a judge to be able to publicly declare their subjectivity and be in an office of a judge. I think it's stupid, but I digress. Here's the thing, right? It simply is this. The judges thought that it's not constitutional for people to have, or we'll say this, for women to have the right to terminate a pregnancy. Okay. And it's simply saying, like, that constitutionally, if you look at the Constitution, even though, like, in 1973, if you look at the rulings, there was, like, a little bit of some stretches there. But ultimately, the question we have to ask ourselves objectively first is it truly constitutional? And here's the thing then. And if it's not constitutional, and the Supreme Court justices rule that it's not constitutional, it's not necessarily a ban yet. Could it get there? Yes. Is it there right now? Is there a federal ban on the termination of pregnancy? No, not yet. So let's not jump the gun. According to the 10th Amendment, if you read the 10th Amendment, whatever it is that's not covered under the U.S. Constitution becomes a state issue. Now, since they rule that it's not a constitutional right, now it falls under the state's responsibility to say this is right or this is wrong. Pretty much the government is saying, the Supreme Court is saying, and I think I may be lagging, so let me minimize this. The Supreme Court is saying the United States government does not have the authority to enforce the right or ban at the specific moment on the termination of pregnancies. It's a state issue right now, as it seems. Now it could change, but as of this present moment, it's a state issue. So what people are out there mad about, right, is the United States saying that it's no longer a national right or a constitutional right. And if it's not written in the Constitution, that's the right decision. If it's not clear in the Constitution, then it's the right decision. Because now we have to think of objectively as Supreme Court justices, objectively, if it's not in the Constitution, then we can't, if it clearly, we can't make assumptions and look at other amendments and say, well, maybe we can pull from there to make that happen. No, it's got to be clearly written down in the Constitution. However, let's look at the other side. Laws can be made, laws can be, amended, and it could be for this to happen. But as of this present moment, it's a state issue. So if you're mad about this, you got to take it to the states, no longer the federal government, unless you have people that are representing your state in Congress, or your area in Congress and in the Senate, and then you can make things happen. But until then, it's a state issue. So now you got to take it up with the states. Okay. So the government has sort of pulled their hands back at this present moment from saying it's a constitutional right. They're saying now it's a state issue, much like education. Education is not controlled by the US government, it's controlled by the state entities. They control education. And under the 10th Amendment, whatever it is that's not in the Constitution, whether pro or against, the states have the authority to define what's right and what's wrong in that specific topic. So, right? So, now that that's out of the way, I still find it difficult to and for the sake of this conversation, okay, I will not be addressing things such as I'm only addressing this as far as the choice to engage in sexual intercourse, because again, the argument is pro-choice against pro-life, which I think the arguments, the titles are very polarizing. But let's say for the sake of this argument, pro-choice, right? You have a choice. Women have a choice. It's their body, their choice. I agree 100%. It's your body, your choice. My only gripe with that is at what point do you exercise that choice? That's my issue, and I'm going to get into that. But before I go any further, I got some guys in the green room. I'm going to bring them up real quick so we can get into some dialogue, and then I'm going to share what I feel about it. All right, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on? What's going on, my brother? How's it going?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming through. I can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah. So, what do you want to share about this?
Well, I'll just go into to answer your question. I kind of took a neutral stance as far as like not really being too vocal about it. Plus, I wanted to plug in my chat for this Saturday.
Yeah. Because you're gonna be going
this great issue. You're gonna see some people in the chat there. But when you made the point about being very polarized, I think that's my main gripe with it, is that people have so many different opinions. And from, if you guys follow my channel, I really try to approach things from a Christian aspect. And they're divided on this issue, but then at the same time, a lot of people aren't being Christ-like with talking about it. And I think that's why this is you're having this here. And so that's really where I wanted to kind of start off with, or start a part up with, is like, where's your heart at in this matter when you're approaching? Like, you might be, pro-choice or pro-life or whatever you want to call it, but then what is your tone of voice when you're expressing yourself, your argument? And then one of the questions that I would ask for you, if you're a believer, like you said, some of your followers aren't believers, but I kind of want to, while I'm on here, kind of address the believers that are in the debate and the argument, is that, at what point do you consider the life separate, versus, at conception to
which I wanted to ask tonight. I did want to ask that tonight.
And then before you join the conversation, do you really know what's, fully involved in the whole Roe v. Wade decision? Because after doing some research, it's not all the way clear on both sides. At face value, we hear, killing babies, but is way
which
more than that.
which is also one of those polarizing statements.
Right.
We know that ultimately, it's a life, a baby that won't be
Mhm.
born, baby that will lose its life. But then there's also this factor that there's some parents, and again, this is the empathetic part of me,
Right.
right? I gotta be empathetic. There's some parents out there who have had to make really tough decisions. Married couples too. I watched a video today because I wanted to make sure that I'm not coming at this from a perspective that I'm like, pointing the finger and talking about how bad people are
Mm,
for terminating pregnancies. And I watched the video because I needed to see the other side. And I watched a video of um, a a married couple, right,
mhm.
who wanted to have a child so bad, right? And after a while, the baby's heartbeat started to slow down, and then they noticed that there was like really bad effects, and um, the doctors. And again, here's the thing: we tend to trust doctors when we want to trust them, but if we don't want to trust them, like we use them very conveniently. All right, so we
Mhm.
don't want to trust them and their professional, opinion on this matter, right? But
Mm.
the doctors told him if you have this baby, the baby's probably going to die before you full term, or at birth, or shortly after birth. And these parents have to make a harsh decision because either way, their baby is going to lose their life, right?
Right.
And they have to make a hard decision, or even if a decision's like, well, if you go to term, you can also lose your life, mom. Like these are hard decisions that people have to make. And
It's, and
yeah.
no, I was going to as someone who's experienced that. Um,
Mm,
my wife and I experienced that. That's a heavy subject for us in this current moment.
yeah.
But that will also be classified as abortion. They categorize all of that from like stillbirth to birthing complications to the vast paradigm. And another issue that has risen up about it,
Hmm.
that people are arguing on the pro, I guess I'll say the pro-choice side that I'm hearing, is
Yeah.
that they're caring for the life of the woman and the mother, in the sense that
Yep.
as far as like insurance coverages, they're
Hmm.
changing laws on that.
Hmm.
I recently saw somewhere where someone had to reach out to a lawyer because they were having complications like
Mm,
recently,
yeah.
and they had to reach out to like a lawyer friend in order to um, get approved to move forward with the process, because they was having
Yeah.
birthing complications. They didn't want to abort, but they were having birthing complications.
Yeah.
But because the law passed,
Hmm.
they had to seek legal counsel to
Counsel. Yeah.
finish the process.
Yeah. And the thing
Just
is also, and
it's
and and
happening.
and, and in the law does state that doctors have the professional, they have the ability to
Mhm.
prescribe that. So in the law, it does say that that there's a if there's complications, doctors are able to prescribe that, at least in the state level. Because again, now it's in the state, in most states in America, in most states there isn't a complete ban. In most states they
Right.
have stipulations. There are more restrictions, but not a complete ban. So people have to do their research and their homework before they go all Rambo on the world, and with these protests. So you guys got to just stop for a second and think, okay, um, if it really is my choice, right? Then why am I expecting a government to make my choice easier? Especially
Mhm.
when this is only for those that made the choice. I'm not speaking about people who had women who had men force themselves upon them because you didn't have the
Right.
choice. I'm not
Right.
talking to you. Like, so I believe in very harsh punishments for men who force themselves upon women. And then if a woman wants to go that route of terminating the pregnancy, I may not agree with it. I understand it, and I won't
Mhm.
be there to judge them. However, if you choose to engage in sexual activity, if you choose to engage in sexual activity, and then you claim the choice to be able to do that afterwards, and the government should help you fund it, I have an issue with that. I have an issue with that.
Right.
If you want to go that route, right, after already making the choice, it's not the government's responsibility to give you that right to terminate. At least this is how I feel. To me, it doesn't seem correct. It doesn't seem right. No, it's just like somebody, and I'll say again, it's just like somebody who willingly quits their job and then wants to go on welfare. No, bro, like you willingly quit your job. You chose to do that, and now you claim that it's your right to live. So I have like it just doesn't
That's
seem
that's
completely balanced.
that's one of the things that like I'll say confuses me when I
Hmm.
like I said, putting the Christian perspective on it in my approach. If we
Yeah,
are to teach people, abstinence is before marriage or premarital sex is a sin and things of that
yeah,
nature, then that stirs up the topic. And like I know people are gonna live their lives, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you as a believer
hmm,
preaching to wait till marriage to
hmm,
have sex, and
hmm,
then people are having sex, and then you're defending them for the results
hmm,
of having sex as
hmm,
a believer.
hmm.
That's one of my questions. It's like
Well,
how
and here's a frustration I have, right? And I've seen this since I've been saved, right?
mm,
We preach abstinence and we preach, save yourself to marriage, right? But then if it doesn't happen, right, and they wind up getting pregnant, we now start preaching against termination of pregnancy, which I support.
mm,
But then after the baby's here, the church will offer zero resources to help that parent get on their feet, all right, or the young parents to get on their feet, so they're not struggling for the rest of their lives.
right.
Now people are looking at, okay, I am a 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl, right? And if I have this child, I have no support. The church
Mm.
is crying, you know, end all, termination of pregnancies, but they're not willing to be a support to those who do the 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 thing, and it's a frustration thing for me. A
So
frustrating thing for me.
So I just so one interesting fact that I did find is that
Hmm.
part of the argument that I see, I guess, it's the pro-choice against the pro-life aspect of it,
Hmm.
is that they will say that if you're pro-life, like they call them, you're really pro-birth versus pro-life.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that's kind of like the argument, because like you want the babies to live, but then you're not doing anything to support.
Hmm.
But in my preparation for Saturday for our discussion,
So don't say
one
too
thing,
much.
I'm not gonna say too much, but
Yeah, yeah.
one statistic I found was that in America, I believe it's some in the 2 millions of people looking to adopt.
Mm.
And so when you break down the number,
Yeah.
it's like for every one child in the adoption
Hmm.
area,
Yeah.
there are 36 available families.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it
But
just
again,
costs so much,
so
and
yeah,
all these things you got to go through.
you're absolutely right.
So that's making it difficult. But it's like, 36 families to one person, and y'all can Google this and fact
Hmm.
check. All right. So, and then they said in that, I think about 90% was the number that are professed Christians
Hmm.
in that number. So, so that argument that's like they're just pro, you know, baby being born, they don't want to support. There actually is a big wave of Christian supporters for those lives. And I know some people personally who have like counseling that if they counsel women that if they don't want the baby, they work them through the process and then help them to put them in a good adoption agency, things like that.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
just a little
Yeah,
fact.
I work very closely with pregnancy care center in Staten Island, New York for a couple of years. They do great work out there. They do great work, and they offer support to mothers who had unplanned pregnancies. And I like how they plan, like how they say that, unplanned pregnancies, and they offer
Right.
a lot of support. A lot of support. My brother, thank you so much for coming through. I'm
Oh
gonna get
yeah.
my brother Frank on here.
Yes, sir.
All
Blessings.
right, he said. All right. Is he still there? Let me see if he's still. Frank, if you can come back, I would like to have your position on this as well. And Tariq Patterson brought up a good point. He said a lot of states have had trigger laws that went into effect immediately upon this ruling, some of which have no exceptions, not for rape, incest, or any other reason. And here's my thing: like, I firmly here's my I don't I'm not a supporter of choice of, like, if you made the choice to engage in sexual activity, I don't see it as I don't see determination of pregnancy as your choice anymore. Like you already made that choice, and the biological consequence is that. And we live in a nation where every second we get a chance to, we're trying to escape consequences. We don't want to be held accountable for our actions. We don't. A lot of us don't. So when we make our own decisions about getting in bed with somebody, right? Then we claim, and then we get then a pregnancy is the result of that. Now we want to claim I'm pro-choice. What happened to the pro-choice then? Didn't you make a choice already? Right. Now in the instance of like the R word, or for a man forcing himself on a woman, she didn't have a choice. She didn't have a choice. So now what do we do? Like do we shame a woman who had a man or a relative force themselves on her, and she doesn't? Oh, thank you. I left my glasses. My wife brought me my glasses. Thank you, babe. And and now we shame her for that. Do I think it's necessarily right? No, I don't. But I'm not going to speak about that because, again, she didn't have a choice. It wasn't her choice. But you know what was a choice? Choosing to go to the bar and picking up this dude, or saying I'm gonna let this dude have it, and he gets it, and then boom, a child is a result. Conception happened. Now you want to claim you have a choice. Well, you had the choice, and you exercise your choice, and now the government has to help fund the consequences of your choice. I'm struggling with that. All right, but let me get Frank. Yeah, what's going on, my brother?
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. I'm just gonna put it out there directly
Yeah.
to everybody that's viewing this that I'm not coming here to give a blanketed statement or some sort of like generalized opinion to say I feel this way. That doesn't move the conversation further. I'm into moving the conversation. I'm just gonna be very brief, and just touching a couple things really quick.
Well, I think we lost you, brother.
I can't because I have notes. I have notes.
All right.
I have notes. But I'll just make it real simple.
Yeah.
As I go around my house, because my daughter will be any minute. Let's go real fast. I'll say this. I like the way the young brother put it earlier.
Yeah.
That people are faithful are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, so we're not going to play like we assume that they are. The delivery of their reaction on social media and people's personal lives via text blast and chats.
Mm-hmm.
Not all, but that 3 percentile of churches and 3 percentile of faith-based people, have been claiming victory, have been using it like an aha moment in that delivery. That percentile, small percentile of Christians, Christian churches, full churches, and full church leaderships does not describe all Christians in general, because that will be a blanketed statement of unreality.
Yeah.
My thing to those people that are trying to use it as their new bully pulpit on social media or aha moment, realize that this happens and everything is like yin and yang.
Yeah.
The pendulum swings both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people that have been angered by that small percentage of Christians, full churches and full congregations that are like smacking it over everybody's face, trying to say, I told you this is how the way it's going to be. States are going to weaponize the furor of the reactions of that small population to attack churches. Not an assumption. It's just simple sociology. Any group or culture of people who bully pulpits their opinion, we're not talking about the law now, we're not talking about the issues. It's going to have an equal and opposite reaction when laws are changed against the ability of what churches can and cannot do. That's the first statement I'm going to say. Second statement I want to share is that hold on, I wrote things down because I was listening. This is the last thing I'll say. This issue is a dividing line issue because you can't play the middle on this issue. What do I mean by this? I'm a person of faith. Don't go to church as much as possible. I have my belief systems on what I believe God has designed for us in general. But I'm pro-choice.
Yeah.
But this isn't a I can play to both sides. This is the dividing line issue. And you know, Dre, and everybody that's watching this know that when that decision dropped last Friday, you got text blasts from your family members, text blasts from your coworkers that you're cool with, text blasts from the synagogue leadership, or the masjid leadership, the Christian leadership, and it's been dividing line. And you cannot tell me you guys have not had arguments in your household or had family members who have had arguments on a dividing line issue. What I'll say to family, what I'll say to parents, what I'll say to people of faith of all different faiths, don't let this destroy your family, but be honest in your feelings and don't lambaste your either side opinion against it, because this is really gonna. I've been in a former friends who are married. This set to the point where people want to leave, and then I'll say something sarcastic like, "Well, was this the issue that you're utilizing to justify your premise?" But no, people were arguing from Friday night to now. And I would just say, don't let this destroy your relationships, your family.
That's good.
Lastly, before I give the phone, before my wild 7-year-old daughter comes in here,
until I said
hi. We'll do. To the Christian leadership of this country, the word says rightly divide the word. But when you study how Jesus walked this earth, it was like, oh, you chill with Zacchaeus? And Jesus reacted in an optional, hey, are you going to treat him like this? And people of God, when the Sadducees and the Pharisees was like, well, Rabbi, what does the word say about this? Y'all trying to call Mary Magdalene a hoe? For those who haven't cast sin, throw the first stone. Jesus, every time Jesus had encounters, he laid out options. He's like, listen, this is a love movement, and here are the choices. Like literally, even if you don't believe in the Bible, even if you're a Christian, if you just pick up a Bible and read the red lines in the New Testament, like real talk. I mean, obviously it's the totality of the word. We get that. Look at Christ's reactions towards the same type of energy, because history repeats itself, Bible, nothing new under the sun. Look at his reactions to people with oppositional opinion points. And as Christians, we're supposed to be imperfect, never perfect followers of Christ. Look at how Christ handled when the Sadducees got at him, the Pharisees got at him, the people say, why you chilling with Peter, you wilding out? How people reacted to Jesus, and then his reactions. And I want church leadership to not try to be perfect, but to mirror, here are the options, here where I believe. Because the lambasting will come back around, and that pendulum will swing, and you're going to lose a lot of people in your congregation based on your delivery and or reaction and or tending to the flock of believers and non-believers within your community. That's what I want to share.
Thank you for your input, man. I appreciate it. And I think you have, some valid points, especially that part about families. Like we tend to take issues that don't directly affect us, but because we have a strong belief in something, we tend to break families up over these issues. And that's why I have an issue with anything too polarizing, taking a hard side on any one topic, because it's like if you take a hard side on one, you can't see the opinions or hear the other perspective of somebody else. And I think that's an issue. You can have a hard stance, but be able to listen to somebody's position without fighting or consider them your enemy, or even saying we have the victory here, as if there was a loser and a winner. I think that but then again, if we was to be completely objective and remove our feelings from this, right, we'll get to see exactly what it is, right? It's not let's be honest, it's not a morality issue at this point. It could be with the conservative justices that voted, right? But we have to look at the Constitution. The law is the law, right? The law is the law. This can be overturned just like that if a lawyer comes in and say, or fights it and say, look, the law says this, right? The Constitution says this. They have that right, and it's clear in this. If it's not clear, we got to be able to say, okay, they may have overturned it because they didn't find it clearly in the Constitution. But then at that point, it becomes a state issue. It's no longer a government issue, and now we got to take it to the states.
I want to say something, because as you were talking, I was thinking, wow, we just spent 2 years debating and arguing a polarizing issue such as COVID with family members on social media in our personal life. Then we got out of it. Now here we go. And it seems like
something
for
else.
some reason,
Something else.
And mind you, as a 45-year-old male, and Dre, I think you're younger than me. We're not going to go there, but I'm saying, you've been through particular eras. We have never seen the culture wars this strongly. And hey, guys, everybody watching this, we just came out of debating on vaccines for like 2 years, and now we're gonna all jump into divide and debate this, bro. Everybody should just take a chill pill because we are exhausted. We are exhausted. Like, we are exhausted.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There are people who I call, oh, I can't wait to this drama because I'm ready to jump into drama. Let's get it. The polarizing is their favorite season. And I want everybody watching this, identify the people in your family group and your friend group that are what I used to hear in the church, sowers of discord.
The Bible does say to mark those that sow dissension among you.
And for everybody's mental health watching it, since my daughter's drawing, sorry, I'm in the house, you know what I'm saying? Your father, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For everybody watching this, identify the people that are locating and trying to create drama and dissent and not progressive conversation. I repeat, for the sake of your mental health, for your children.
What's up, Athena?
Good.
For your children and for the sanity of your household and the peace within your household, wives and husbands, for your own mental health and for the mental health safety of the child you're raising in the middle of these culture wars, identify family members and friends who just are here to bring the drama to create separation so you can like keep your distance. Like, listen, okay, I've asked you for the third time. Listen, I'm not here to argue. You have your opinion. This is polarized. We make our mark. But if you're creating something to try to create something negative, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want negativity in my life. And this is going to be revealed. COVID was revealing. Take a deep breath. Now this will be revealing. But as mature, progressive-minded adults, no matter what your stance is, communication requires two people to listen to differing opinions and coming to a collective consensus. But when you're around a family member or a friend, I'll be brief, I'm about to shut up. But when you're around a friend or family member and but still they have the but still mindset, but still to keep the negative energy going, then just keep it moving and be like, bro, you just like the drama and I'm out. Real talk.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that.
But I'll let everybody get a chance to speak. Thank you, Dre, for letting me on.
My pleasure, and bro.
Everybody, we're exhausted emotionally. Can we just chill and just talk and listen? All right, I'm out.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, he brought up some good points, really good points. And I like how he talked about because like the thing is I'm not he didn't even really talk too much about his position. He talked about people taking positions and how they allow that to separate them with the loved ones. And I think we have to be careful with that too. Got to be careful with that. And he brought up a good point. Like, it seems like whenever there's one issue of drama that dies down, another one sprouts up. And it seems like this nation exists because of drama. Like, we strive off that. Like, when are we going to get to the point where we can just be at peace and have different of opinions and live with each other, disagreeing with each other, but at peace with one another? Like, are we ever going to get there? Like, I would love to see that. But on this specific topic, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. Like, for somebody can say, well, I don't really agree with termination of pregnancy, right? And all of a sudden they are the worst person in the world. And then somebody who says, oh yeah, I'm all for a woman's right to choose, which is also a really weird concept for me. And I'll explain in a second. Women's right to choose. The Christians like, oh, you're going to hell and all this and all that. Like, how did you're a murderer and all that stuff. And listen, we all know that if you're terminating a pregnancy, you're terminating a life. And also I have a question about like the Supreme Court. Like, I saw a very smart meme. It was meant to make stabs, but it was a smart meme. How can justices who can't define what a woman is defend the rights of women. It's kind of weird, right? It's kind of a weird thing where it's like we can't really define what a woman is, because who am I to define what a woman is? But we got to defend women's rights to choose. And again, I agree with the women's right to choose. I really do. You make the choice when you choose to lay with somebody. And if there's a conception at that point, then you've already made your choice. Now you want a choice to terminate a pregnancy. And that, I got to be honest, is really a twisted concept for me. It really is a twisted concept for me. Like, I don't understand that. All the events during the pandemic with Black Lives Matter, boom. Social distancing, boom. On mental health, Asian assaults, boom. And now this, it's bringing light in dark areas for people I thought I was close with. Yeah. And it would be dope if we could have just conversation with the people that we're close with. But because people take polarizing positions and they cannot hear or tolerate the difference of somebody else's opinion, we get this. And it's crazy. It's crazy. All right. And by the way, if you guys look down below, we have the number up. And if you pinned up there is a link to join the discussion. If you want, you don't got to even show your face on camera, but I would love to hear your position. Love to hear your position. You guys will let me, hold on, let me read that. You guys, let me tell you, I don't need to look far for something to start a campfire. All I have to do is say Jesus or pro-life, and the trigger will shoot the fiery arrows. Absolutely. Because this is a polarizing topic. For this topic, I think we need to go back to James 1:19. Quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Triggering topic for some people. And everybody is so quick to become angry about something. It seems like everybody's got to fight or protest about something. It's about gun rights, or it's about female reproductive rights. And again, the whole terminating pregnancy and female reproductive health is kind of weird to me, because I watched a video of a board certified gynecologist who talked about with each termination of a pregnancy, be it, and this is just the science, so please, I'm not making a moral proclamation right here, but with each termination of pregnancy, be it miscarriage or termination of pregnancy by choice, the woman's reproductive health sort of deteriorates just each time. It makes it harder for a woman to go full term for each and every either miscarriage. And by the way, I do not think miscarriage and the willful termination of a pregnancy is the same thing. And I won't ever say that, because it's logically not. But yeah, but you're right. All right. We got to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. We're all entitled to believe what we believe, but the execution of our beliefs is sticky. I agree. Boom, you already made plenty of choices. And that's the thing, like, you made a huge choice. What's going on, Poppy Blanco? I know you got a lot of opinions on this, bro. I know you do too. All right. Yeah. So I'm respect the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Right. So, and that's my thing. If you guys want to join the discussion, you can call the number, or you can hit me up on the link above in the chat, and we'll discuss this. But this is one of those things that it's like people don't want to find a middle ground. And and for this conversation, I'm only talking about people's choice, because that's the argument, right? Taking a woman's right to choose. I think a woman does have a right to choose. And if that choice is taken away from her at the time that she doesn't choose to engage in a sexual intercourse with a man, and he forces himself on her, there should be harsh punishments for him. Like really, not like really, really harsh punishments for a man who does that, because you've taken her rights away. But here's the thing. When we talk about the whole pro-choice argument, we're not talking about taking away the woman's right to choose who she wants to have intercourse with, because she has that right. We're talking about the government saying that it's a right for them to terminate the pregnancy if they choose, even after they willfully had sex with somebody. I don't understand that. I got to be honest with you. I don't. And maybe because I'll be honest, let's say maybe because I'm a man, right? And I understand that in America, a woman who chooses to terminate a pregnancy has a choice not to be a mom. But if a man who engages in like a one-night stand with a woman and she chooses to keep the pregnancy, he does not have a choice not to be a dad. And again, the imbalance there, I don't understand how, I just don't get it. I don't understand the imbalance. It doesn't seem logical to me. And it could be a subjective view for me. I don't know. It could be, and maybe you can tell me how it is. Like, but I just don't see. I don't see how a woman has a choice, but then once a choice again, you have a choice, right? And here's the thing: you also have a choice in America. Even after the U.S. government said that it's not a constitutional right, they didn't say it's banned. They left it up to the states. But then you still have the choice to go and get it elsewhere at a state that where it's legal at. Now I know there's the issue of this is going to affect those who are marginalized, who can't afford it and stuff like that. But then we get on the government for not making the right easily accessible to everybody, but we don't get on the people who are making poor choices in their choice to have sex with people. No, the choice is like we get angry at the government for taking a woman's right to have to terminate their pregnancy, but we're not getting upset with the women who are choosing to have sex anyway. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. And I know it takes two to tango. All right. It's a guy too. I know it takes two to tango. All right. But in this specific issue, we're talking about the women's rights, right? The woman has their choice. You have your choice. So I would love to have a woman come on and as I spit on my mic and explain this to me, because I may be coming from, you may think I'm coming from a misogynistic, bigoted type of position, but I don't understand how you have a choice. And this is, I'm not talking about those who went through R and things like that, or who had a man force himself. I'm talking about a woman who made a willful choice of her own to have intercourse with somebody, and then expect the government to say it's their right to choose to terminate the pregnancy. I don't understand that. We got Poppy Blanco. What's going on, bro? So I do have some families watching, maybe some teenagers and so kids. So let's make sure we keep it at a without the curses and stuff, if you don't mind.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
Camera on this thing.
I can see you though.
Okay, hold on one second. Bro, it's dark in here. Hold on. How can you turn off the camera?
I got you. I think I could turn it off for you.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, how you doing, my man?
Doing well, bro.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. I haven't been in this chat over here. I don't get your notification for some weird reason.
Really? YouTube is trying to what's that word that YouTube, what's that thing that YouTube does when they don't want to share your stuff out? And by the way, if you guys like this right now, please like the video. And if you guys want, just hit that share button, share it out so that people can join the conversation as well.
It's like call it shadow ban, something like that.
Yeah, shadow ban. Yeah.
I heard about that thing. I don't know how truthful it is.
Yeah, it was cool though. So what are your thoughts on this?
Man, this is crazy, man. It's just another rule that, I mean, what a lot of people don't know is that this is supposed to be in play. This is supposed to happen when Trump was a president. This was supposed to happen back in 2007, 18, online, 19. But the pandemic got in the way. So, when the pandemic got in the way, they start kind of like everything closed down. It was no buildings up, and so it came down to this until now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just so this is just another way for the government to kind of like the way I look at it, man, is they're just trying to increase their numbers, man. From all the stuff that I was reading, is the white population is decreasing in a huge decrease since the past 30 years, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they used to be 70% of the population. Now it's only like 60. You know what I mean? So they need to increase their numbers. And also like because these people didn't come up with this out of thin air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is they already studied this. They already draw this. They already know where this thing is going. This is not just they just need more people to pay taxes. They just need more. You know what I mean? Like this is what I think. It's a win-win for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids are gonna be born out of this whole situation, right? Whether you want them or not. I mean, not necessarily. Let me take the ball a little bit, because you can still go get that stuff done if you really don't want to have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the point I was making. Like you still got the choice. The choice hasn't been completely stripped. Like the government didn't ban it. They're just telling you it's not a constitutional right. And the reason why they have to say that is because it's not written in the Constitution. So we can't, so the Supreme Court cannot say that somebody has a right if it's not constitutionally written. If it's not written in the Constitution, it's not a right. It's not a
Yes.
right, which is why we as African Americans, all right, hold to the 13th Amendment as close as we do, because the 13th Amendment made certain things right, a right for us, except if we get arrested and then we become slaves all again. But
Yes.
the 13th Amendment it's law. So the Supreme Court has to uphold that. If there's no law directly addressing termination of pregnancy, then the Supreme Court cannot uphold it as a right. They just can't.
Yes, sir. You are absolutely correct, Mister.
Yeah.
It's just from the on this from all the stuff that I was reading to, this is like a Republican move right here. This is kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
this is what they believe on,
Yeah.
and this is a play that they had in place, right? But
Mhm.
they looking at this play to start paying
Yeah.
dividends fit 20 years from now. What I say 20 years from now, that's when these
Mhm.
kids gonna start becoming old enough to start voting. And
Yeah.
usually, uh because I think they said they want the white population to kind of like grow up a little bit more. I mean, every population gonna grow, don't get me wrong, but they need their numbers to kind of like grow up a little bit more so they can continue keep a hold of the economy and all that stuff. So they can continue being the bigger, you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
majority of the people.
Yeah.
And they know most people, most it's like a study. Most white they vote Republican. That's not
Mhm.
like a secret. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
So they did all the studies. That's what they came out with. And to say another one more thing is, it's like I say, it's a win-win for them.
Yeah.
And the reason I say it's a win-win for them, like if out of all these kids that come out, let's say they become great citizens,
Mhm.
a lot of people paying taxes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
If they don't become
I
great citizens, guess
yeah.
what? They're gonna go work for that for the cents an hour thing in jail. You know?
Yeah. I think and that's actually a really good point. Like um and with Biden being in office and it happening under his leadership, I think there may be a turn when it comes to the local elections as far as voting in, because that's who has the true power in this situation. It's not the president. It's not even the Supreme Court. It's Congress and the Senate.
Of
They
course.
it's going to shift to be more of Republican controlled Senate and Congress
Yes.
after the situation. It's going to empower the Republican. I didn't want to get into politics tonight, but it will empower the Republicans and to and but yeah, it could be a shift. Yeah.
And another thing is in this situation, I saw a few channels how men was kind of like happy about this,
Hmm.
and I don't see how they can be happy about this. It's gonna be more misery out here
How
because
so?
now because it's a lot of men. A lot of men. I don't want to say oh man. A lot of men just have sex just to have sex. They
Hmm.
definitely want to become daddy. I mean
Hmm.
fathers. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So when you know, we none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
We get with a woman, whatever, and the baby come out of that. You
Hmm.
know, most men gonna be like, "Hey, man, I don't want that." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Here's the money. I'm whatever. I'm at the 4, 5, 6, $700. I don't know what.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Usually they work together and they go get it done. Now you had the one girls that they wasn't trying to hear anything.
Hmm.
So now they don't got no now with these new rules and they happen to be in the state that they don't play that and the women completely be like nah they now he gonna find himself in court.
Hmm.
And also a lot of that this I just thought about this today, man. It's gonna be a lot of scams going on.
Hmm. Yeah, but that's when and again, I think we as men got to start practicing PD. Um, the little guy discipline, like the
Mhm.
our we got to practice discipline in that area, and I think that's the actual answer to this. And same with the women. Everybody got to be disciplined in this specific area. I think like the natural consequence really is, and again, some people will say, well, what about those who can't have, children. Like we're not talking about that. We're talking about those who have done the act and the natural consequence happened, right? We all know that it's pleasurable. We all know it's pleasurable. We
Yes, sir.
enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun. All right. I get it. Right. But we got to be disciplined in it because we understand that there's major consequences after that. And this one of the things that this bill, like the overturning of this right, really does expose how heavy the consequences of just casual sex. There's a heavy consequence behind it. And people tend to go into this very lax. Like it's like, hey, I'm just doing here for this recreation activity. I just want, let me get my rocks off and leave me alone. Or, let me just, get this itch scratch and I'm good. But oh man, dang, this happened. Right. I think
But do you
we
think?
yeah.
Do you believe this gonna change anything? It's not gonna change anything at all, man. Let's be honest.
It's hard to say because I I wasn't there in 1973 when it did happen. when it became a right, when the Supreme Court said it's a right. I'm not sure, and I think it's hard for anybody to come up with any conclusions right now of what the true outcomes of this will be. We would have to wait like another 5-10 years to really
Okay,
see if there are any. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you why this is not gonna change anything, man.
yeah.
When this, do you remember? I mean, I know that I was probably like 2, 3 years old
Mhm.
when Magic Johnson and ECE, all these guys came
Yeah,
out
they
with
started
AIDS
getting
and stuff
AIDS.
like
Yeah,
that. This happened what, like a 91, 92, something like that,
yeah.
bro. It didn't stop these people from go having raw sex. Like, let's be honest, he actually ramp it up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So
but
if
you
you
know
go
what
back,
happened? What happened then though is because I remember this. There was a huge push for contraceptive and safe sex. So there was campaigns. People like they were handing out condoms like it was water, right? I was in middle school. In middle school, all right, bro. In junior high school, and we had access to condoms in junior high school. They were giving it out like so. There was like a huge push, and again, but it goes back to my whole point before about we in America try to escape consequences as much as we can. We would rather keep engaging in an activity and try to find ways around it instead of
facts.
being disciplined and saying, you know what, I'm not going to engage in this.
Yeah, but my whole point was this, Mr.
Yeah.
Harris. If that didn't scare people back
Hmm.
then, AIDS and HIV and herpes and all that stuff, that they actually, that was like the first time that people actually seeing it, like, oh, look,
Hmm.
Magic Johnson, this is
Yeah.
like stars,
Yeah.
superstars, actually. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And they were heterosexual males.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That actually, and the reason why I bring this up is because if you look at the numbers of kids being born plus the deletion numbers, it ramp it up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
People start having even more sex unprotected. The
Yeah.
part, the part, the sex part isn't even that crazy. It's the part,
Yeah.
the unprotected part is the part that is crazy.
Yeah.
So I
All
don't
right.
think this want to change anything, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah. And guys, let's tone down the comments. I had accidentally hit a comment that I shouldn't have. So guys, watch your comments because I got families watching my show. So please, if you're going to be inappropriate, we're going to put you in timeout. So if my moderators can just keep an eye on that, appreciate it. All right, man. Thank you so much for your input. I got somebody else in the green room.
Anytime, man.
All right, man. And guys, hit up Poppy Blanco TV, man. He has some good stuff over there. All right.
Take care, boss.
Be safe. Good afternoon or good evening, Tiffany. What's going on?
Hey,
How you been?
I've been good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would
So,
love to hear your view on this and I'm glad because I really want to hear a female perspective because I have a perspective. I got to be honest. A lot of it is I guess it leans on what I believe with, but I also have questions logically about certain things that are even outside of what I believe. So I'm glad that you're here, and whatever you say, there will be no judgment here. I just want to learn. So, and we may disagree. I may ask you questions, but I'm just here to learn. So I would love to hear your position on this.
okay. So I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, and I feel like um, this is is not a topic that the church can be silent about. I feel like a lot of times we're forced to close our mouth because we're not loving because we have an opposing opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was praying yesterday, and I was praying for children that were unborn, because the Bible talks about how God knew us even before we were born. And I was praying for the church to get involved. And God gave me these scriptures. The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the peoples of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. So I feel like, we still need to, this doesn't need to be something that divides people. And love is going to always be the answer.
Yeah.
And if we're being inclusive and we want to be diverse according to like the world standards, then we also need to be loving. And that means that it's okay for us to have different opinions. But yeah, God's in control. He's got the last say.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with that. I didn't want to come from, because it's easy for me to use my faith in an argument. I wanted to try to go at it from and I'm glad you brought it. Like, if you guys can say whatever you want. I said that I won't incorporate scriptures in this because some people don't believe. So I'm coming from a different angle, but I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, thank you so much. Do you have a channel? Do you have a channel on YouTube or no?
Sunflower Forever.
Sunflower. Oh, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my sister I went to Zion with.
Yep.
What's going on? Yeah. We went to Zion Bible Institute together.
Yeah.
What's going on, sis? All right. Thank you so much for your input. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Be safe. Bye. All right. And somebody just called in from a 207 area code. If you can call back, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't know what happened. It should have rang. If it didn't ring, please call back and I'll get you in and hear your thoughts on this. But great, guys. I'm going to play a quick commercial and then we're going to come back. So stay with me for a hot second. Thank you so much for watching this video, whether you're watching it live with me right now or watching the replay. We greatly appreciate your view and your engagement. So make sure you leave a comment down below about the topic that we're talking about. And also, if you would like to join the Harrison Extended family, you can hit the subscribe button on the bottom right and the bell notification next to it. It'll let you know when we upload new videos and when we go live like we're doing right now. All right. Also, if you would like to join the channel through memberships and support the channel monthly, we have very inexpensive tiers which will allow you to support the channel without breaking the bank. You can do so by hitting the join button on the bottom right of this video, or you can join our Patreon community by going to patreon.com/Harrison Family Value. So please, we would greatly appreciate your support. But even if you cannot give monthly or any kind of monetary donation, you can just subscribe to the channel, and by doing so, you'll be part of the Harrison Extended family. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have not liked this video yet, do it right now. All right, peace. So listen to the guy who just spoke. If you haven't liked the video yet, like it right now. All right, and subscribe. Why don't you? All right. My main thing is, as believers, when you are in the conversation, what is your heart? Like what? Yeah, like what are you trying to communicate? Are you really trying to reflect Christ's light onto other people, or are you just trying to prove how self-righteous you are? Because it could be a lot of us self-righteous people in this position, and we don't really want to have a conversation. We just want to point the finger and judge. It's hard. Like I don't agree with the termination of a pregnancy, especially if you have a choice in the matter of who you slept with. If you made the choice to sleep with somebody, I don't agree with it. But again, I'll speak vocally about that. Like, somebody come to me and says, man, like, Dre, and actually I had a young couple come and talk to me before about this, like really talk to me before about this. And I told them that it doesn't make sense to really, you guys chose to engage in, and both of them, like the male and female, came to me and they said, we have a whole life ahead of us and stuff. And I said, well, were you guys mature enough to choose to engage in sexual intercourse? They said, yeah. Then you gotta sleep in the bed you made. Like you made the bed, you slept in the bed. Now you got to deal with the consequences. You don't get to just, escape consequences like that. Or at least we shouldn't. And I think we live in a society where we just don't want to be responsible for anything anymore. We don't want to be responsible. And then it's always somebody else's, always somebody else's responsibility to help us with our poor decisions. How do we as a nation accept things like that? You did the act, and now it's the government's responsibility to make sure that you have the right to terminate the act that you did. Like, I don't understand that, right? So they wind up, going through the pregnancy, and they have a beautiful baby boy. Like, I think right now he's got to be what, in middle school right now. Like, I don't see it. I don't get it, right? But now, if somebody was to come to me in tears and saying, I found out that I'm, with child, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know you're not married. Who's the father? And then they tell me, my stepfather forced himself on me. Or first off, I'm calling 911, and homeboy's going to jail. That's the first step. All right. Or even another situation where a man, can somebody time that person out? I greatly appreciate it. One of my moderators, I appreciate it. You guys know what I'm talking about. So if that happens, right, and they say a man forced himself on me, I don't know what to do. I would offer the suggestion to, please try your best to keep the pregnancy if you want, and then put the baby up for adoption. The more times you have an abortion willingly or have a miscarriage, it's harder to carry to term in the future. And that's scientific. That's just, but if they say, no, I can't have this baby inside of me, this was not my choice, I am not about to just, damn them to hell, because I don't have a hell to put these people in. I don't. I could only say, listen, like, you realize that you doing this is going to cause a life to be lost. All right, at that point, that's their decision. I can't, because they didn't have the choice. I just don't know. But I just, if you have the choice and you made the choice, men and women, and I take the same position for men who want to try to get out of paying child support. If you laid with a woman and a baby is a result of it, you got a responsibility to maintain, bro. Like, you made the choice. You don't get it. I don't think people should have a choice not to have a choice in the things that they made a choice in. You know what I'm saying? The consequences is there. You can't escape the consequences. You made the decision. You had the choice. You willfully made this choice. Now, be responsible for the choices you made. Like, I don't understand how we live in a time where adults can just not be responsible for their actions. But then we want other people to be responsible for their actions, just not us. It's weird to me. Oh, you were the person calling from the 207, but I got you. All right, but thanks for calling in through the link. I appreciate it. All right. So, guys, for those of you guys watching the replay, I would really like to know your position. I really would like to know your position. All right. So now that all of that is done, I will say this: I am a Christian. I am a believer in Christ, and I've been saved since 1997. I was in full-time ministry, and I have Christian values, and I believe in those values. I live as best as I can by those values. But with that being said, I'm not a supporter of the termination of pregnancies. I'm just not. I'm not. I don't support it. And just because I say I don't support the termination of pregnancies, don't be putting words in my mouth saying, oh, Dre's here and he doesn't support women's reproductive health. Actually, I do. Because the more times it happens, the less likely you are to be able to reproduce successfully. So yes, I support women's reproductive health. I just don't support that, because that's not a reproductive health issue. That's you skating responsibility for the choices you already made. Now, I'm only talking to those who made the choice to have sex. Okay. You already made the choice. So it's not Dre saying he doesn't support women's health and women's right to choose and women's reproductive health. That's not what I said. I said I don't support termination of pregnancy as a means to get out of your responsibility for a decision you made. I am pro-choice. You made the choice. I am pro-choice. So if you didn't have a choice, you do whatever I got nothing to say after that. So I'm pro-choice, but I'm also pro-life. I am like the most pro-choice and pro-life dude you'll ever meet, if that's such a thing. All right. Like I really am. Like I just won't. Yeah. Exactly. We want to be grown until it's time to be grown. That's a bar. I like, we want to be grown until it's time to be grown. Right. Right. It's like our kids, right? If you got kids, you know all about that statement. This is a true statement. All right. Because your kids want to be grown and want to come in and out of the house whenever they want because they think they're grown until they got to pay their own bills. And now they're not grown anymore. And I was like, I didn't ask to be here. Why I got to pay this? I didn't ask to, but you're right. There's a door. Go ahead and be grown. Right. So I like that. We want to be grown until it's time to be grown. All right. Because we believers don't agree with abortion and can choose not to have one. Why do we feel the need to take a woman's choice when even if we disagree with her motive or reasoning? It's in this situation, it's a constitutional thing, not like a government. So that's a state issue. That's a state issue. Okay. And again, the woman had a right. I don't think Christians should be getting that procedure done either. You have the right if you willfully chose to engage in sexual activity. So if you have the right to choose, how do you choose that and then expect the government to want to support your right to choose to terminate the pregnancy after you've already made the choice? Didn't you already make the choice? So how does that work? I don't understand. How does that work? The answer isn't let's make it legal. The answer really is go practice discipline. Stop sleeping around. And the thing is, that's not even like a moral thing. That's just logical. That's just logical. If you don't love the man, again, I let me just say this. I believe in sex in the confines of marriage. Okay. All right. Let me just say that. But let's say that you engage in sexual activity. At least have sex with somebody you don't mind being a parent with. Like you guys are out there free willing all over the place, men and women. And then when babies come into the picture, you're like, I want my right to choose to terminate, or I don't want to be a part of the child's life because, and I'm not paying child support. Yo, you made the choice to lay in the bed. You did. I don't get it. Make smarter decisions. If you aren't going to wait till marriage, at least in the bare minimum, engage in the activity with somebody you don't mind having a child with and being a parent with. I don't get it. This is probably just my one-sidedness speaking, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't get it. Because at least at that point, right? You can get married and say, because I intend on being. I wanted to be a parent with this person. Right? We engage in activity. Let's just make it right and get married because we intended to be with each other for the rest of our lives anyway. Right? But oh gosh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it. Again, people could be like, "Oh, Trey is off his rocket, man. Like I gotta unsubscribe from his channel. I don't know what he's talking about. He's I'm not trying to like down anybody for the position. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't understand how men and women, right? You have the right. And again, I'm not even saying that women don't have the right to their own bodies. You do. Don't let a man inside your body. Period. You have that choice. And what's crazy is you made the choice to let the man come inside you in both ways, right? And then when a baby comes out of it, you don't want the baby in you. And now it's your body, your choice. You had your body and your choice. You made it. You gave him your body with your choice. So again, I'm trying to understand the logic behind this whole pro-choice thing, because it doesn't seem like it's actually pro-choice unless it has to do with terminating a baby. You guys let me know in the chat. Let me know what you guys think, because I got questions. And I've done an extensive amount of research on this, and that's one answer that people on that side cannot answer. They have not been able to answer that. And if they have, it's been an emotional, illogical response without a clear answer. Yeah. Hold on, let me read that first before I put that up there, because people be wilding on these comments tonight. I'm going to teach my children up us hell wide open. I mean, you can cause lifetime pain and miss. All right, I'm gonna play that. All right, yeah. True. Oh, you want to play? It? Got you. Got you. All right, guys. It is now 9:13, and your boy is doing summer school and his admin internship tomorrow. Yes, I have an internship for administrative school leadership and administration. Yeah, your boy's trying to become an assistant principal. I don't know if I want to become a principal yet. We'll see. But yeah, gonna try to make that happen. And I want to spend time with my wife before I go to sleep. So, with that being said, I do appreciate. Hold on. It might seem strict, but seeing many people and myself feeling the consequences of premarital sex puts the heat on 10. It does, and that's a dope thing about people who have come to. People have become truly woke. They've gone through certain things. They don't want their kids to go through those same things. So they teach their kids how not to fall into the same pitfalls that they did. That's called dope parenting. So shout out to you, bro. All right. But with that being said, let's call it a night, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. And if you're watching the replay, I greatly appreciate it. Do me a favor. If you have not done so yet, please hit the like button right now. Hit the like button right now, and hit the bell notification next to it so that it'll let you know. Oh wait, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and then hit the bell notification next to it so it'll let you know when I upload new videos. I'm gonna go live like I'm doing tonight. And by hitting the subscribe button, you'll be joining the Harrison Extended family. That's what I call my people in my YouTube community, my social media community. You guys are my Harrison Extended family, and I greatly appreciate you guys. So please consider liking this video, sharing it out, and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. And if you're watching the replay, leave a comment down below, because let me know what you guys think, because this is one of those polarizing topics that that people just lose their mind over. We have 31 votes, and is the right to terminate pregnancy right constitutional? 71% of you said no, 16% said yes, and 13% says don't know what's in the Constitution. So thank you guys for your honesty. Truth of the matter is this: constitutionally, there's nowhere where it's written that there is a right for women to terminate their pregnancy. There's nowhere. So because that's not written in the Constitution, then the U.S. government cannot really enforce that. So the Supreme Court had really no choice but to make that decision to overturn Roe V Wade, right? So because of the 10th Amendment, it makes it a state issue. So whatever it is that the government doesn't cover in the Constitution becomes a matter of the state, just like education and other things, right? So because it's not covered under the Constitution, clearly, the states have the authority to ban it or to allow it to happen. So with that being said, let's be educated about this, and let's try not to get too emotional with these discussions, because once we get there, we become really dumb. We don't listen, and nothing comes out of that. All right. So guys, thank you guys so much, but please leave a comment down below. Would greatly appreciate to watch and read and listen to what you have to say about this. All right. So I love you all. And until the next upload and live stream, I am out. Peace.